What's good, y'all? Rich Sosa back in a building with another banger. Now, first things first, before we go ahead and get started, I gotta go ahead and say thank God for another day and another opportunity. And as y'all can see from the looks of the title and the screen, today I got a very special build in store for y'all. Now, I'm going to be calling this one the two-way diamond post scorer, and this build out of all NBA players is going to be reminding me of Carmelo Anthony. Now look, with this build today, we're going to be able to get a 99 plus put towards our driving dunk, pass accuracy, block, and defensive rebound with the pro dribble animations as well as pro contact dunks. We're going to be able to get a total of 57 badges, 7 of those being Hall of Fame. My favorites were going to be break starter, physical handles, and spin cycle, 19 of those being gold, 18 silver with 13 bronze. Now this is absolutely, in my opinion, the best Carmelo Anthony comparison, and this is really an elite interior defender build. So I think that makes it perfect for the 1v1 court. As far as for the offensive end, I think this build is definitely overpowered. You'll be able to get a 96 plus strength, and this build is definitely a shooter and a rebounder, making it one of the best catfish builds that you can possibly make. So look, before we get any further, I just want to say thank y'all for the support. More so than anything, if it's your first time coming through, be sure to hit that sub button if you're new, smash that like button, turn on post notifications to be a part of the rich family, and last but definitely not least, comment down TG for Thank God King Jesus and where you're tuning in from, and I most definitely will be sure to get back to you with the response. So to get started today, make sure you put this build under the small forward position. Getting into the height, move it one tick up to 6'8", and then for our weight, I'm going to go ahead and max this out to 250. As for the wingspan, leave this at 7'3", and from here, we're going to be all set to move forward with this template. Now look, if you want to make any changes or adjustments along the way, do it after we create the build completely together. So the first area that I'm going to start out with is going to be the physicals. As for the speed, I'm going to go ahead and put this to a 70. Moving into the strength, I'm going to go with a 92, which makes this build really unique. Now as far as for the vertical, I like this best at an 80 with a stamina of a 93. Now this is what we're going to be looking like for the physical standpoint. Remember, you get a +4 from the Gatorade facility workouts, so we'll have a 74 speed, 59 acceleration, 96 strength, 84 vertical with a 97 stamina. Now the next area that I'm going to get into is going to be the finishing. As for the close shot, put this to a 54. Getting into the driving layup, I'm going to go with a 74. As for when it comes down to our driving dunk, I'm going to go with a 90. Now this really sets you apart from a lot of builds. You're going to be able to unlock a lot of the dunk packages. Getting into the standing dunk, I'm going to go with an 81. And the same exact thing when it comes to our post control. Now this build as a whole for the finishing, I think we're perfect in all 5 of these areas. If you wanted to make any type of adjustment, go ahead and do so. But as for the badges, as you can see, we get Fearless Finisher, other badges like Pro Touch and Giant Slayer with Whistle. You'll also be able to get Hall of Fame 2-Step and Spin Cycle. I think Scooper and Float Game are other badges that I do like as well. Then you get Silver Posterizer with Slithery. I like Precision Dunker. And then to finish everything up with the post control and standing dunk, I think this build is really complete. You'll get Fast Twitch with Silver Rise Up, Unpluckable with Gold Back Down Punisher. I think the badges only get better as we upgrade the rest of the build. And look, even Silver Drop Stepper with Gold Post Spin Technician. Now I think you have pretty much everything needed when it comes down to being a finisher. Getting into the shooting, go ahead and put that mid-range shot up to a 72. As for when it comes to our 3-pointer, I'm going to go with a 70. Now look, if you want to, you can definitely max this out, but I think this is where you got to go ahead and use your skill. So for my own type of playstyle and liking, I'm going to leave these numbers as is and still consider it to be a CARMELO build. Reason being is because if you activate your takeover and take the minor risk of learning how to shoot on a lower 3-point rating, I think it's going to pay off down the road because you're going to be able to put these extra attributes into other areas of this build. But as you can see, you'll still be able to get badges like blinders, silver catch and shoot, green machine and space crater. I honestly do like silver guard up with MIDDY magician, open looks as well as post fade phenom, silver dream shake and whistle again. Now these badges, as far as for the shooting, really are going to help you boost your shooting percentage. Now I had to go ahead and make sure that we're at least unlocking free points on the bronze tier. Now let's go ahead and get into the rest of the build. So as far as when it comes to our pass accuracy, I know this is going to be questionable to some people, but go with a 95 and that's going to set this apart from a lot of other builds. You'll be able to dominate in the rec as the main ball handler. As for the ball handle itself, go with an 80 with a speed of ball of a 70. Now look, the badges that I like most is going to be gold bailout. You'll also be able to get Hall of Fame break starter, dimer, needle threader, relay passer, as well as special delivery. Now I think this is the bailout specialist build, especially considering that you get this badge on a high tier. Getting into the ball handle itself, you'll be able to get your upgraded unpluckable to silver, ankle breaker as well with handles for days. Then also you get physical handles, killer combos, and triple strike. As for the speed with ball, I think this is another important area, but it really opens up the floor for the rest of the build, especially if you know what you're doing with a lower 3-point rating. Same thing for the mid-range and even the ball handle. I think you can dominate just about in any game mode with this build. So to get started, go ahead and put that interior defense up to a 67. Moving into the perimeter, I'm going to go with a 58. And then as for when it comes to our block, go ahead and put this all the way up to an 87. Now the rest of the attributes should be left over for the defensive rebound. And as you can see, we're going to be able to put one tick into the offensive for a 48. Now look, the badges that we do get for this build, bronze anchor, workhorse, you'll also be able to get off-ball pest, getting into the block, gold chase down artist, pogo stick, and then even for the defensive rebound, box out beast with rebound chaser. Now I think this build as a whole really sets you apart not only from most interior defenders, but all around offensive small forwards. Now taking into account that we did take a minor hit towards our shooting and a little bit towards our ball handle and speed with ball. Same exact thing can be said for this area, but I think because we did get higher ratings for the defensive end as far as for the block, same exact thing for here on the playmaking with the pass accuracy. Nothing much for the shooting, but as for the driving dunk, I did make sure that we're able to get the contact dunks on this build, which is really going to set you apart. Now do take into consideration buying your own boost, equipping gear, playing well throughout each game, and on top of that, if you buy your own boost, that's going to play a huge effect on this build, at least being able to get some of these attributes into the 80s or even the 90s. So from here, let's go ahead and move forward with today's build. If you made it correctly, we should be getting these 3 different comparisons. And as y'all can see, together, we have created the rare and best 2-way diamond post scorer, which comes out to a diamond interior threat. Now, especially the fact that we get the Carmelo Anthony comparison, I think it makes this build so much better. Now, really add everything up that I previously mentioned when it comes to boosts, and I think this build really is going to be one of the best for any type of game modes, but especially when it comes to the 5s and 3s. So thank you so much for your support. More so than anything, thank God for another day and another opportunity. And if it was your first time coming through, be sure to hit that sub button if you're new. Smash that like button. Turn on post notifications to be a part of the rich family. And last but definitely not least, comment down TG for Thank God King Jesus and where you're tuning in from, and I most definitely will be sure to get back to y'all with the response. And with all that being said though, I got one last thing to say. Rich out.